amount of burst damage they had. It's just such a powerful threat versus that deck.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we're going to move into game number 3 here. And it's going to be Freeze Mage once again for Just Saying. Terrence is going to throw out the Zoo Warlock. So a little bit of a bold choice, but, I guess it effectively doesn't really matter. He's going to have to find a win with it anyway. He's probably going to have to match up against Freeze Mage anyway. So it is a tough matchup, but it is winnable. And we'll see if Just Saying can pull it through and take this lead, or if Terrence can go into a tough matchup and take it. That's a good hand to do it with. Really powerful start.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a kind of hand that can do it. Chooses not to coin the Flame Imp here, so is eyeing the Imp King boss rather than the Flame Imp, or maybe just doesn't want to play too hard into a Doomsayer on turn 2.
I hope you like my invention.
Kind of an interesting play here from Terrence. I mean, it's looking like, oh, wow. That one's really good.
Yeah, we've seen firsthand how crazy these Dark Shadow Councilmen can get in these Freeze Mage matchups, especially coined out, because there's just no way to deal with it outside of extensive measures like Frostbolt and Ice Lance combined. To take out a single card, which is a lot of burn, and it's a full turn used to try and take out that single card. So, I mean, he could load up the Dark Shadow Councilman here and then triple 1-drop on 3.
Now, Just Saying happens to have an answer to this, which is Ice Lance and Doomsayer. If he Ice Lances the Councilman, Terrence actually can't kill the Doomsayer this turn, and that's going to be a fantastic turn from him. I mean, usually when you play Doomsayer, there is some vulnerability to it. And we'll see if he wants to Ice Lance. I mean, guaranteeing that Doomsayer goes off, I think, is so important when you're facing down that Councilman.
Yeah.
So not going to be too greedy with it, and it's definitely the right call.
Yeah. And Terrence had an out to try and kill this. If he had drawn a Power Roaming off the top, he could have Abusive Sergeant and Power Roaming the Voidwalker in order to protect it. But a very small chance, and he is going to have to just forego a turn, which is huge in this matchup. If you lose the board at any point, it's so hard for you to reload quick enough to try and put on the amount of pressure that you need to beat a Freeze Mage.
Now, something interesting to note is that when we saw Chalky in this position, he played Possessed Villager into the board just to get a 1-1 on table. If Terrence had done that here, it would have either gotten a point of damage or seen a hero power from Just Saying, which wouldn't have let him use Arcane Intellect.
Yeah.
So very interesting to note the differences of styles there, where Chalky was very liberal with his resources and Terrence a little bit more conservative.
Yeah. He has more of a control style approach, as we've seen, at his tournament performances in the past few months. So maybe that makes a difference. But Imp King Boss picked up, second Imp King Boss. Imp King Boss is a decent card in this matchup just because it always sort of guarantees that something sticks around. Outside of like Frost Nova Doomsayer combination, if you Blizzard, 1-1 sticks around, things like that. So it can be valuable in this matchup, but still, though it's low damage, it doesn't apply that much pressure. See how Terrence decides to approach this. Mouse over the Abusive Sergeant, so maybe trying to get in that damage now. But I can't imagine he's going to play Forbidden Ritual. That plays very heavily into Blizzard. And fills up his board. I wonder why he went with this play. If he's only going to play 1-drops, I'd imagine he would have tapped first.
I mean, tapping may be off the menu for him again. I've seen so many players lose this matchup because they life tap just a little bit too much, and that could definitely be something that Terrence is thinking about. He's already at 24. I mean, Just Saying isn't going to have to put together too much more stuff here. Now, Terrence does have Mortal Coil and basically no burst damage in his hand after just more minions. So he may at some point have to tap in this game, but I think he'd rather be forced into that position rather than just deciding to tap early on and not really getting much mileage because of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. But developing a really weak board last turn made it so he didn't play very much into Blizzard, but he does just have a weak board. So now he's going to load it up. Flame Strike will leave around 2 of those 1-1s, which can be quite annoying, but I feel like you're not going to find a better turn to Flame Strike. Just continuously clearing the board, minimizing the damage that you're taking from these minions. Yep. And Just Saying's going to find himself in a pretty good spot.
Terrence is going to feel comfortable with the Knife Juggler here as well. It's going to get swept up in Blizzard, unless he chooses to Defender of Argus it. But this game is looking all Saiyan right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so hard for Terrence to put together an assault here. And Flame Imp is definitely no help.
Put this apple on your head.
You go with Night Juggler, Direwolf Alpha.
It's such a tough situation playing Zoo against Freeze Mage because you don't really know what's feasible for you to play around. You don't know if it's worth bringing your Night Juggler up to 3 health, but using a Defender of Argus in the process. Like, what's worth protecting? What's worth holding on to? Do you flood the board and just hope they don't have it? It's so hard to find the optimal way to play this matchup, and it is really tough.
It's going to be
to find a
7
win.
1-1s this turn.
Yeah, and I mean, both Blizzards are gone. Flame Strike's gone. So it's going to be the best time to do it. It's a very efficient use of it. But this is going to be so much burn for Just Saying. He's just going to set up
2-turn lethal here. Or rather, a 3-turn lethal here, unless he draws the right burn spell.
Yeah.
Only has Terrence at 12
Okay.
here. But Terrence full board and 12. I mean, there's nothing he can do here. He has to literally just pass the turn. And with that ice block down, that's going to do it.
Oh, well, it is a 2-turn lethal with Power Blast and the spell power, so. All right, well, Just Saying's going to bring it up to 2-1 lead here, and just the Zoo Warlock of his own remaining, I believe, since that was not banned away. Terrence has his own Zoo and Freeze Mage left, so if Terrence can go and win a mirror matchup here with Zoo Warlock, then he might find himself in a position where he could mount a comeback in this series, being down 2-1.
Yeah.
It is going to be close. I can still say this could go either way, and it is going to come down to that Zoo mirror, I believe.
It's kind of interesting that